Hello, everyone, and thank you to Camilla and DTU for inviting us. My name is Loa Brix. I'm a communications consultant. I work with companies and organizations, helping them transition into a world where communication and marketing is digital first. I work for my own company called Trooper, but I'm not representing Trooper today. I'm representing Connected Women in AI, as well as a few other people in this room. I'm definitely not an AI expert. I don't know how many people in this room or online would even identify as an AI expert. Would someone raise their hand if they actually feel like an AI expert? All right, 2 people in the room. So the rest of you might be AI generalists, integrators, or working in fields related to AI, or maybe you don't even feel like you're working with AI. But as I would like to illustrate in this presentation, AI does affect everyone and everyone's jobs. So my talk is on your path to AI, how Denmark's talent gap creates opportunities for you. Connected Women in AI is an organization, obviously working to inspire more women to join AI, and also inspire women to stay in the field and not leave, as many of them do today. We are, of course, interested in diversity, generally speaking, so not just gender, but we just really feel that it's necessary to talk gender diversity in AI in Denmark today, because we do have a big problem, and I'll talk about that later. I'll also say a bit more about the organization later. But first, I would like to invite you on a time travel. So welcome to the year 450. Now, why is that interesting? That's because that's the year the Gutenberg press was invented. This was the first technology that we used to reproduce books. Gutenberg invented this tool to speed up the production of knowledge and books, and that meant that all of a sudden you could go from producing 40 pages per day written in hand to producing 3,600 pages per day, approximately, as far as we know, at least. And of course, this invention was distributed throughout Western Europe quite quickly, and had enormous effects on how people conceived of language and knowledge and so many other things. And I brought this as an illustration of this transformation that happened. And I assume you recognize this kind of hockey stick from Silicon Valley, but this is much older. So before the year 450, there were around 2,000 books in Western Europe. 50 years later, there were 20 million books, and 100 years later, 200 million books in Western Europe. So what does that have to do with AI? A few things. You could say that we are witnessing history at the moment. First of all, with the Gutenberg press, many jobs were changing. Jobs were disappearing, other jobs emerged. We also saw that the production of knowledge really accelerated, and that existing power structures were reinforced. Of course, the church found it very interesting that they could produce Bibles and religious scripture much faster, while also democratizing this knowledge. So there were 2 sides to this. There was a chance for more control, and also a chance to lose control. And obviously, human creativity and legal frameworks were being challenged, as we're seeing today with AI. So this parallel is interesting because it just shows us that we are in a really, really interesting time in history where things are developing so fast and the structures we know today are changing so fast that we really, really need to be aware of how we are allowing this change to happen. And that's why I have come up with this expression that AI is like gravity. So there's no one who will not be affected by AI in their professional life and in their private life as well. So you might not be working in AI today, but in a way you will be very soon. So we're moving towards a future that where AI is affecting all jobs, and I hope you can read the text here. Otherwise, I read it aloud. So Sevilla published a report in 2020 saying that at that point, 35% of all jobs could be partially automated with existing technology, and that's in 2020. Obviously, that's a much higher number today. And in January this year, Journal for Economic Behavior and Organization published a study showing that there's a 24% decrease in freelance jobs within certain fields. And we're mainly talking about text production here, standardized text production, which is one of the fields where ChatGPT obviously is doing a lot of the work now. But that just means that jobs are disappearing now, certain jobs. And if we should try to just narrow in on Denmark for a while, Denmark has a big problem. By the year 2030, we will have a digital talent gap of 20,000 to 80,000 people. So we don't have enough people working seriously with the digital transformation in Denmark at the moment. We are losing around 10 billion euros annually in productivity gains because we're falling behind in the AI adoption, according to Boston Consulting Group. And the demand for AI-specific skills in Denmark has grown by more than 20% annually over the past decade, but 51% of Danish companies state that a lack of talent is a barrier to AI implementation, according to McKinsey, and 35% of Danish AI startups agree that talent is the biggest obstacle to working with AI. So these are just some numbers to illustrate the problem. A problem that could be your opportunity. But I haven't addressed the most important question yet. The most important question to me right now in this talk is how many women are actually working in AI? So we know that we need more people in general, all kinds of people, to be interested in the digital revolution in AI, but we should discuss gender right now. So I really want you to participate in this, so I'll invite you to scan this QR code, and it takes you to a form where you can guess on this question, what percentage of those working with AI in Denmark are women? You need to register to use the form. You can always delete your account afterwards. So I will just give you a few seconds to vote. And maybe some of you read the same reports as me, maybe you didn't. We have 11 people participating at the moment. Signing in. I'll give you a few seconds. Yeah. I hope. Yes. It's okay, and I figured some would say that. the issue is this is the only platform that Canva is actually collaborating with, but I'll tell them it's a problem. Yes. Okay, so there might be a few more answers ticking in, but I can see from your votes that some say 21.3% and some say 15%. The right answer is 21.3%. So at least it's a bit more than some of you guessed. But I would have hoped that it was higher. And if we compare to some of the countries that Denmark usually compare ourselves to, we could look at this picture here. It's the data source is Reveal Your Labs, and it's from last year. You see Denmark right in the bottom there, 21.3%, lacking much behind other countries like Sweden, Spain, and even in the top, Italy, Finland, Latvia. So I think this is a bit scary. Did this surprise any of you in the room? Some are nodding, some not. No. Yeah. So this is the situation. We could just say, all right, women don't want to work with AI, so what? That's up to them, right? But if we were to move ahead with that approach, we would probably have problems, all of us, because this has happened before. So remember, first of all, the seatbelt in cars, Amazon's AI recruitment tool, facial recognition tools, voice assistants, and so many other inventions that were made for men, by and for men. Not from some evil scheme, but just because men were in the room. And our message to you is, why should we let history repeat itself? So it's actually everyone's responsibility to make sure that we don't have only white men in the room when we are inventing tools that will define the future for all humanity. And I brought some more numbers and facts regarding diversity. First of all, we know that women in leadership and role model positions benefit employees, according to Deloitte. We know that homogeneous AI teams increase bias risks, reinforcing inequality in hiring, finance, and healthcare. We know that women in AI bring needed perspective. We know that excluding women means losing talent in the industry, and that diverse teams challenges biases, improve data collection, and push for inclusion. So, first of all, we need, as a society, not only in Denmark but worldwide, we need to look at the structures that are reinforcing this balance. Obviously, this agenda is even more relevant now with the current political climate in the States, at least. But if we just focus on the individual level, I'm not just talking to women now, but to all of you, some pieces of advice on how to change the situation. First of all, everyone needs to get in the game. Only 16% of Danish workers are using generative AI weekly, and the global average for this is 61%, which is, to me, quite astonishing. So we all need to get in the game. We all need to participate in this transformation. We also need to attend events like this. We need to attend network events. We need to meet other people, and we need to discuss what's going on. Second advice, find your heroes. We know that role models are extremely important for career choices. And if we want to change anything in society, we need people that can inspire others. I just brought this quote. When looking at my career, most of my successes could be traced back to a mentor, from Ali K. Miller. And third advice is trust your path. So we cannot all be data scientists. We don't need to be AI experts, all of us. As I said before, AI is affecting all jobs, so we need to be AI generalists, at least all of us. But there's so many ways into AI, and generally speaking, you need to find your path into AI. I brought a couple of quotes here as well. There are many pathways towards working in artificial intelligence, and being an engineer or having a degree in data science is not a prerequisite. Yeah. So I just got the 5-minute sign a few seconds ago, so I'm moving a bit faster here. But I would like to invite you, those of you who want to participate, I would like to invite you once again to share your thoughts on diversity in AI. I gave you some reasons why this is important, but there are so many other reasons, and we'd really love to hear what you think. So if you would just type in your answer to the question, why do we need diverse AI teams? And we will include it in our work going forward. And of course, this is all anonymous. So you can write whatever you feel like. Better idea generation, because we need diversity of thought and variety. Just need more people, period. To prevent bias, less blind spots, balanced scopes. Okay, and if some of you haven't pressed submit yet, can do that now. Ensure future tech supports and benefits everyone. Create solutions that adapt to everyone. Yeah. Okay, we'll collect all of this afterwards. Yeah. Thank you so much for participating. And I'll skip the next survey here because of time. I need just a few minutes to talk about connected women in AI. Obviously, you understand now what the agenda we are working with. We have different initiatives. We are a network where everyone is welcome, not only women. We produce insights about diversity in AI, and of course we have a lot of initiatives that we call development. So we will be launching mentorship programs and awards and a lot of other initiatives that I would invite you to stay tuned to learn more about. And I'll give you a link in just a second. Before that, I would like to also recommend this podcast episode where Katrine, who's sitting right here, she's the chairperson of Connected Women in AI. She's in the latest episode of this Danish podcast, I'm sorry, it's in Danish, called AI Mennesker, where you can also learn more about the organization and the agenda. And some links for you to stay updated. First of all, our LinkedIn profile, which is where we announce all events and initiatives at the moment. So stay tuned there. Second QR code is to our next event on March 6 on women leading AI, and our next webinar is the third QR code, which is March 19th, the impact of AI on media production and consumption. So I'll just let you scan those codes. I see if phones are still up. Yeah. Thank you so much. And finally, if some of you, primarily women in the room, but others are also welcome, but if some of you are interested in learning more about our programs, I would suggest that you sign up here. We have an upskilling program coming up that we call Nerdy Birds for women in sectors related to AI that want to transition into a career in AI. More about that later this year, and we'll be launching mentorship programs as well. So through this form, you can sign up for what you would like to hear more about. Yeah. That's it. And questions.
Thank you so much, Loa. Great talk. Do we have questions in the room? I see one down here.
Thank you so much for a very inspiring presentation. I was wondering a little bit about the percentages you mentioned. 16% of Denmark, the working population of Denmark, are using generative AI, and 61 was it with the world population?
Yes, yeah.
So, but only, what is it, 60, 67, I just used generative AI to, to look at some numbers. It says that 68% of the population has internet access and 57% of those are working. So I was wondering, what are the numbers exactly? Like, what do they describe?
Yeah, so these numbers are from Boston Consulting Group research they did. And I find it very low, the 16%. But we also do know that there's a big shadow number here because a lot of people are using Gen AI at work without actually talking about it, because their workplace are not supplying a safe and secure and strategic solution. So I think that also explains part of that number, but then that also reflects on how Danish businesses and workplaces are actually approaching AI. That many places, it's just not something that you have a strategy for. So I think that's part of the reason why the number is so low, but I'm just guessing. But it's a good question.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for a great talk. I was just wondering if you could speak a bit to the number of women working with AI in Denmark, which is shockingly low compared to other countries. I mean, how does that compare to other technologies? I mean, is it sort of the same? Does it sort of diverge from it, or is it more like the same? And also, if you can identify perhaps just the three most biggest problems that is hindering women from working more with AI.
So the problem is also there when we talk about technology in general. Actually, at the moment, I don't know if it's a bit higher or a bit lower. Maybe you know, Katrine? In technology in general, yeah. So it's a bit higher in technology in general than with AI. But obviously, there's a problem with women in technology jobs, and it's not a new issue. So from what we know, and we will be conducting some research this year ourselves to dive more into this problem, because we are also very curious and we don't have all the answers and we don't understand all aspects of the problem yet. But from what we know, women sometimes state that they don't feel invited to be part of a job in a technological position or in a workplace working with technology, because the culture is just not familiar to them. Some women don't choose a career in technology because they expect that it won't be very family friendly. There are also few reports about sexism, but it doesn't seem like that's the main issue actually. So in my opinion, from what I've learned, I think a lot of it is about perception and about what we feel a tech job is, that I think we need to change.
Yes. Hi, thank you so much. I work with student innovation here at Skylab, so I have a question that's very relevant to my work. How do we inspire more women and minorities to work with computer science and AI? Do you have any insights or places I can go look for strategies? Is it certain cases they should work with? Is it certain aspects of AI?
We know that, thank you for a great question. We know that, that actually also addresses the question from the gentleman down in the other side of the room, because we know that some women don't use AI because they don't see how it's contributing to larger societal issues and agendas. So apparently women are more motivated to work with AI if they can see that we are also solving social problems, solving climate problems. So women are not attracted, it's very generally speaking right now, not attracted to tech for tech. It's tech for something else. And by saying that, I know that that also applies to many men. But apparently, I've seen some studies that suggest that there's a difference there. And then you talk about what can we do about it. Whenever we want to change anything socially, we need role models. So we believe very much in role models, in mentorship, and in also celebrating the women that have success in the sector, so that others can see, okay, there's a path there, and there's someone that I can learn from. That's part of the solution.
Visar has a question.
Thank you. To what extent do you think that some of these issues could be addressed by changing the actual education system and the way that AI is taught? I'll give you a concrete example from ASU. We have a program, AI for Alzheimer's. So it's basically solving problems related to Alzheimer's disease. It's a training program. And one of the unique things that they did when they developed it is all engineering students that are part of this program during the course of their studies have to actually go and spend time with patients with Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And it attracts a very different crowd.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, are there other opportunities that exist in the training space in order to increase the diversity of the talent pool?
I think that's a really great case. And definitely there's a lot that we can do in the education system, obviously. And just the rhetoric we use when we describe tech educations, I think we really need to look into that. So yes, definitely. I don't work in education myself, so I won't be an expert in this field. But I really do think that we need to start there, and we need to start maybe even in middle school and inspire more girls to work with math and tech.
I was just reading the other day in an interview, and it relates a little bit to this. It just goes way further back. And it talked about how women, from a very early age when they have children, they basically engage with their children. Also in homework, for example, that it's very often it's the father who will help the child with mathematics, and the mom will help write an essay or something like that. So it's also encouraging women, and this is what is it you can do as a woman to basically engage in this area from very early on, step into that space that, so it's not being branded as a male industry. Yeah. And I think that's very important, and I think it's very dangerous right now because I was having a discussion just yesterday with somebody who says, yeah, but there are just some jobs and men are better for those jobs, which is true. But when we're talking about technology and everything that happens in the head, we cannot brand a profession as male just when it's technology and it's going to impact us so much. So it sat with me because it's true. I have not helped my children with their mathematics, but I should have. But anyway, yeah.
It's very true.
So true, we all got to do our part. For the sake of the people online, I'm gonna kind of wrap things up here. I've been looking at some of the questions online. I think we answered most of them, but you can have a look afterwards and see if you want to address some of them via email or such. Thank you so much to both our speakers. Let's give them a big hand. There'll be